the right people as well as the idea. And moving on, in terms of deals, last year, as I'm sure you can appreciate, was a slow year for a lot of people. A lot of our investors were hit economically, and there was a period of time where people were licking their wounds, so to speak. But despite that, we did 7 new deals, and a total of 19 deals, so the other deals were follow-on rounds. We invested close to $5 million of our own money, but more importantly, the companies that we invested in, some of them went on to receive other funding, and that was additional $45 million in last year alone.
So let's be clear, a follow-on round for those that are watching is additional funding from the same or others in TCA?
That's correct. These are companies that we funded who have then come back to us because they need more money, and it presents another opportunity for us to invest.
So what's hot right now?
We pride ourselves in not being sector specific. Despite our name, TechCoastAngels, we see a vast array of deals from life science to technology, internet-related businesses. I like to stay away from the hot. In fact, if it's a hot area, it's probably already passé.
Okay.
I think most investors who look at a lot of deals pride themselves in being on the cutting edge in some of the new areas. But again, not to evade your question, a couple of the deals that we've done last year, Masher Media, which I guess in simplest terms is a second life for kids.
Okay.
Which isn't necessarily a positive connotation, but very positive 3D software that allows children to learn as they play games.
So Second Life being virtual alternative life where you can choose your character and live a life and expand and grow and in the virtual world. So just for those who aren't clear on what that is.
That's
okay.
correct. PharmaSecure is another company that we actually did in conjunction with another angel group, Life Science Angels up in the Bay Area. And this is basically a system for authenticating pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
In the third world, this is paramount. You're in a situation where people find themselves buying drugs and not knowing whether or not they are legitimate. This is very simply, they can call the number on the back of their prescription, send a text actually, and they'll get, via text, they're reassured as to whether or not it's authentic. So it's a great way and to make sure that the drugs are getting in the hands of the people that need them the most and that they're legitimate.
So in 2001, I mean, I'm the first one to admit, I had my own difficulties after .com. We had a .com that we actually had friends and family. We had commitments from investors. And of course, we hit the recession at that point. And it's very hard to continue to go on, but I am still here in the entrepreneurial spirit, fighting on and doing my thing. What do you have to say to those folks that are struggling to maybe even just find a job? Is now the time to really maybe rethink it and think about doing it yourself? And I mean, what is your opinion on those that are struggling to find something right now?
Now is a great time to be an entrepreneur. Intuitively, you would think that given the high amount of unemployment, that this would be a time when a lot of people go off and start their own companies. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that uptick in applications. We would love to see more people apply and have those companies pitch to our angel investors. We're actually in a great situation. We had some news last week that was very exciting. One of our portfolio companies, Green Dot, filed for an IPO on Friday.
In the U.S.? In the
U.S.
That's national news.
And we're very excited about it. As of last year, they showed our investors a 60x return. And if we see the IPO, regardless of whether that happens, it's been a great deal for us. But after the IPO, I mean, we're looking at a 100+x return for our investors, so very positive. But to answer your question, this is a great time to be an entrepreneur. It's a great time to be looking for money because as investors who come off the back of a success such as that, they want to get more deals.
Hot, let's go. Exactly. Let's go do more.
And now they've got the
sure.
capital to do it.
Yeah, investing I know is very addicting. I've talked with several investors over the years, and they say that once you get it in your blood and you succeed at it a couple of times, it's hard not to do it, to do it more. Right. So let's take that person who's unemployed and may have a great idea. what is the fundamental toolkit they should walk in the door with? What is it that to make the impression in that first, because you only get 15 minutes, so is it a formally written business plan? Is it a business plan with a couple of sales? Is it a patent pending? What is it that they should expect to be, having as an asset when they walk in the door?
You definitely want to come in prepared. And I would argue that in today's world, a business plan is less important than, say, an executive summary and a slide deck with no more than 10 slides where you can clearly articulate what the value proposition is, what the problem is you're solving, the size of the market, being able to quantify that, and why it is you have the team that's going to be successful doing this.
So how should they judge whether or not this is a product that has legs? I mean, is it that there's 25 million people that are going to buy it for $2, or is it 100,000 that are going to buy it for 10,000? I mean, what's the kind of market that TCA generally looks for, if there is a general market?
We like billion-dollar ideas.
Okay.
And the thought being that if you can capture 2% of that market, you've done well. To enter a market, existing or new, and to think that you're going to capture 50% of that market it would be naive. So big markets, a small share, helps to reinsure investors. That's first and foremost. How big is your idea? Second, I think it's important to determine where you are along the curve. For example, Guy Kawasaki talks a lot about this, and let me see if I can.
He's with Garage.com, or was? Is he still with Garage.com?
Yes.
Okay.
Very successful investor.
Yeah.
He has a book, Reality Check, that I think is a must-read for every entrepreneur. He challenges the entrepreneur to ask himself, are you simply continuing out along an existing curve, for example, social media, it's a hot area, or are you on a completely new curve? Ask yourself that question. Also, again, what is the problem you're solving? And what does the world look like without you? Because if there's not a pressing need, people aren't going to buy it or be interested.
So let's talk about the protectable position. This is a term that is used a lot. How is the position protected? Meaning, is there a patent? Are you so far ahead in the development that it would take a period of years or dollars in the millions to catch up? What should that person expect in the way of measuring their protectable position?
Very important. We're always looking for IP. Is there intellectual property that will protect us from someone else entering this space? And if so, what's the time horizon for that? But it's not necessarily so. For example, one of the companies in our portfolio that we funded last year, that I mentioned earlier, Masher Media, there's no IP to protect this technology. What was relevant to us were, the team was very accomplished. The CEO had a lot of experience in this space, producing successful TV shows such as Rugrats and The Simpsons. And with those connections and with her experience, she was in a wonderful position to add a lot of value. So in short, it's important but not necessarily crucial.
So that takes me to the next question, which through personal